Boom, 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 boom. Mr. Stevie's tall tale, toy, was it? Tall toy tales. Ha! Clearly, I haven't been practicing since the last time. Hello there. Hope your weekend is going well. It is cold. It is cold here today. I've got my cup of tea. Lovely. Right. Let me get this timing right. Alexa, let's go live. We got 10 minutes to talk toys. Hello, you can see I'm a little bit different. I've got a little friend here, it's little ET. If I just sort of snap him into shot. Actually, I've just remembered. This little guy is a little custom did, and his heart light blinks. How sweet. Let me bring you back to me. Oh, that way. There we go. All right. So last time we spoke, I was talking about how I got in the industry, how I got through interviews and the different projects that I've done at Hasbro. And we got cut short by the 10-minute. I kind of started talking about how can you get in the toy industry? And I know a lot of people ask me that. So I spoke about just getting in. So let's get back onto that. So yeah, just get into the industry that you want at any level, on any job, at any time, at any place. Doesn't have to be the company that you really want to work with eventually, but just get in. I know it's easy to say. I know everyone's got rents to pay and food to buy, but if you're that driven to work in the toy industry, that's my number one tip. Just get in. Number two is really about how you hold yourself and how you adapt to new challenges. Getting into the toy industry is one thing, but surviving it is another. It's a very competitive market. It's a very competitive industry. There's lots of different toy companies and people move around a lot. And I find that being adaptable and willing to change and willing to move with the times and do things differently and even step away from the thing you really want to do for a little while is what it's all about. Those that can adapt survive. That is probably my biggest my biggest piece of advice to anybody in any industry, just careers in general. It's not all about the hard skills like I can do graphic design, I can design toys, I'm a mechanical engineer. It's not about that. It's about the ability to adapt and change and partner and move around and help other people and all that kind of stuff that really makes a difference. And then number three, the third thing that I tell all the people, and this is probably the one that I think that everyone gets very surprised at. People ask me, they DM me, and they say, "Hey, Steve, I love toys. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I'm a massive Marvel fan, Power Rangers, Transformers, or whatever. I want to work in the toy industry. I'd be brilliant at it." My big advice to them is be a fan, but don't be too much of a fan. I'll tell you why. Those that come in and know everything about a particular property or story, it's important. But if you know too much or you consider yourself too much of an expert, you might be unlikely to have certain points of view. You might be unlikely to adapt and change because, just a reminder, it's a toy industry. It's an industry, it's a business. All right. And while, yes, we build things for fans and build things for kids, you have a finite amount of resources, you have a different portfolio of products, and you've got to make choices, industry choices, business choices. And sometimes if you come in as a fan, if I'm interviewing, I see people a little bit too blinkered sometimes. I go, well, could they make the tough decision? Could they make the right decision for the business and for the industry? I don't know. Maybe oh my God, they're too much of a fan. They're immovable. They're immalleable. They can't adapt. They can't change. So people get quite shocked when I say that to them. I'm like, be a fan, but not too much of a fan. All right. So if you can get in, be adaptable, know the story and love the story and be a fan, but not too much of a fan, you can make your way. There are lots of different jobs in the toy industries you can have. Like, so for example, if I'm making a figure like that, it'll take me a year or 18 months, or it'll take a year and 18 months. I don't do it all myself. That would take me thousands of years to do it all myself. But there's probably, in the process of that, between 12 to 18 months, there's probably about 25 different professions involved. And just going on my experience in Hasbro, that ranges from, we've got people that do customer research, that ask kids, what do you want? they check with parents, will you buy it for them? That we've then got marketers that will say, okay, well, I'm talking to the retailers and we're talking to sales, and they want this, and so here's a bit of a brief. Let's do something like that. Okay, then it comes to then it comes to design, to product design, and we design the toy like that's what we want to do, and that's how it wants to play, and that's the experience we want. Then engineers come in and they say, well, you can't do it like that. That's too expensive. Don't be silly. That technology doesn't exist. Oh, it doesn't exist. All right. Well, let's go to our animatronics department and our engineering, electrical engineering, and try and work out how we do it that way. Oh, it's got an app. Okay, we need some app developments in there, and so we build through like that. It then gets into graphic design. So, okay, let's put it in a box, package it up. Let's get our graphic designers. All right, we need some words to sell this. Copywriters, great. Brand writers, in you come. Tell us what are the words that are going to explain this toy and the way that we play with it. Then it will go. Where does it go next? We've got some writers, and we've got some graphic designers. We've actually got the people in the vendors, the factories, actually making the stuff and building tools and making the actual plastic things. We've then got people shipping it. Then got people selling it and salespeople. We've got people that are taking photographs of this thing, like Matty, my mate Matty. He takes photographs of those things. That's a whole profession. That's his job. So there's tens of people involved in creating one single toy. And so to get into the toy industry is reasonably easy in terms of disciplines and professions and the things that you do. There are lots of places you can learn these things. If you're going to university, you can, if you're lucky, you can get into there's a few toy design if you want to be a designer. A few toy design places. FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology down in New York. I think Otis in California. I think they do a toy. A toy course. But generally, if you want to be a designer, you want to get onto the hands-on this, you've got to do graphic design, you've got to do industrial design, you've got to do mechanical engineering, but you can do a whole raft of things in toys to get into the industry. Also remember that you don't actually have to work for the company that makes the toys. We rely on a massive network of inventors, people that just come up with toy ideas. Now, they can be independents, or they can actually work for companies like IDEO, Seven Towns, Bang Zoom. There's loads of them all around the globe. All they do is employ people to come up with ideas about toys and different play patterns and technologies and advancements. And they come to us and say, hey, we've got this idea. What do you think of this? And they pitch it to us. And if we like it and we think it's applicable for one of our brands, we might go, oh, that's fantastic for Transformers. Let's do that. We then take it over. We work with them and partner. We make the toy, and then we pay them a royalty. That's where you get your money. Now, that's cool, but equally, that's a lot of stuff that you have to create and invent, and most of it probably doesn't get placed. But if you want to work in the toy industry, excuse me, consider working for a company. For example, Hasbro. Keep an eye on jobs.hasbro.com. That's where we launch we speak about all our positions, and you can get internships there as well. But also, reach out and talk to these inventor groups. You can go to the Toy Association. I'll put links down. I think it'll be down there to the Toy Association and also to our jobs.hasbro.com. So you can kind of scour around. And if you're interested, have a look. Check it out. I'm also very, very open to chatting to people about jobs in the industry or what we do or how it works and the different types of things. So people have DM'd me, and I've actually jumped on a Zoom call with them just to kind of chat about it. I'm not going to do it for everybody. I can't, because it'll just be crazy. But I am more than willing to help people if they've certainly got the skill set, they've got the education, they just want to kind of get into it. So if you fit into that criteria, give us a bell, and I'm more than happy to have a chat with you. More than happy. All right, so I think that's probably about it in terms of the industry. I've described how I got in. I've given you some tips on how you could get in if you're interested. And I've talked about the types of projects that I have been involved in. I think what we'll do next week is talk a little bit more about, get you in focus, get more about collecting and how I collected, how I started collecting, get you in focus. Whoa, there we go. How I started collecting back in the early 90s. And I got a few stories that I'd like to tell about that. And then I'm going to work out how to maybe get some stories from you, maybe even get someone on the on the live stream. I'm still very new to it. I'm still kind of looking around and trying to work it out how it all works. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So we'll talk about collecting, give you some stories on that. And then maybe we'll start digging deeper into my actual segments and the different types of things I collect, whether it be Star Wars or whether it be like little ET or Tron or Indiana Jones and stuff like that. So I'll start reaching out to you with some ideas for this live stream, and we'll grow together, and we'll get more and more ideas as we move along. So I'm probably about 10 minutes now, I think, getting up there. I'll wait till it turns red. I'm actually ahead of time. So what else can we talk about? No one's actually on. Oh, hey, Dog War Jones, you're the first person that's made a chat, made a comment in the chat. How's it going? I'm just kind of filling now because last week 10 minutes was up like super quick, but this time it's taking its time. I hope Alexa is working. Maybe it's not, but there we are. So I'll start talking about collecting. Why don't I do that? So, Saved by the Red Light. Anyway, all right, we'll talk more about this next week. Bugger off. Have a lovely rest of the weekend and a great rest of the week, and we'll speak soon. Cheerio.